This story may have you asking, why does this keep happening? This is 6-year-old Marcel Bonnet from Louisiana, who was recently vacationing with his family in Kissimmee, Florida. That's when the unthinkable happened. Marcel was at the Fun Spot amusement park riding this roller coaster when he was flung from his seat, falling almost 20 feet to the ground. You can hear the horror in this 911 caller's voice.
911.
You need to come to Fun Spot. This poor child fell off a roller coaster.
Body cam video captured paramedics' arrival.
He was on that track.
You can see Marcel's mom carrying his blue shoe. This witness had just gotten off the ride.
It was a complete accident. He's tiny. And the seats can only go, there's still a little gap.
Thankfully, Marcel survived and only suffered a broken pelvis. He's just the latest in a string of scary amusement park ride accidents. Last month in Illinois, a 10-year-old was flung out of his seat on this ride. He had to be life-flighted, but also thankfully survived. Media report that the park says the ride was recently inspected and all safety procedures were in place. We're wishing Marcel a speedy recovery.
Man, I feel bad for this young guy here. I mean, me personally, I did the whole Cedar Point, you know what I'm saying, going on rides, Michigan Adventures, because I'm a Midwest guy. I'd have been there and I did that. I'm personally can't do it no more. And if my body wasn't so messed up from this car accident, I damn sure wouldn't do it, you know, just because of all the crazy stuff I see going on from these type of experiences with kids. Me myself, I think it's a very uncomfortable ride, so I don't like doing it. And like I said before, my body situation now with surgery and everything, I really ain't getting on no roller coasters.
They waited 2 years before they even... There is no urgency when it comes to us. They waited 2 years before they even said it was foul play suspected in her case. There is no urgency when it comes to us. They waited 2 years before they even said it was foul play suspected in her case. I told him that my daughter was missing. And he was like, she probably's not missing. She probably don't want to be bothered. I was like, no, you don't understand. This is not her. I talk to this girl every day, all day. I literally had to pull my phone out and show him how many times a day this girl texts me or how many times a day she calls me. And I was frustrated. I was like, why do I have to plead my case? My daughter's missing. My children are my light. It's appalling the way they just put us on the back burner. They waited 2 years before they even said it was foul play suspected in her case. When you knew from the beginning, it's like it's a lot of disbelief when it comes to us. But they put a lot of urgency on women of the other color.
Typically, when a young woman or girl of color is reported missing, that case isn't taken seriously by law enforcement.
Now, this is a crazy subject. Knowing how people get treated in this country, definitely people in my skin pigmentation, knowing how they get treated. It's kind of crazy to know that, you know, when somebody goes missing, it should be all hands on deck, whether if they're yellow, purple, black, white, or green. It's just sad to see that it don't even matter if you're a woman, just being, you know, black will have that type of effect. I think everyone who goes missing, definitely women and children, should be a top priority more than I should say is being advertised and actually work that's being put into it.
The media has a fascination with young white women and girls that go missing. And they're typically blonde, blue-eyed, described as very attractive. Our young girls and women are not seen as victims. You know, they're oftentimes adultified. They're fast and they're getting what they deserve. That is so untrue. Our young girls and even boys are victims of sex trafficking. That is a multi-billion-dollar industry. They target Black women and girls because, one, no one is going to look for them. And if they were caught, the penalty will not be as harsh as trafficking anyone else. We applaud Representative Ruth Richardson for introducing legislation in Minnesota to protect missing Black girls. It's an office that is needed and it needs to be replicated across the country. There are some states that have looked at this legislation as a blueprint to protect those that are most vulnerable in their communities. The Ebony Alert will enhance the public communication alert system where media platforms and social media platforms must work with law enforcement to help to amplify these cases of vulnerable missing Black women and girls between the ages of 12 to 25. The challenge with the Ebony Alert is to get law enforcement to activate it. They have to use the system that is in place. So you can put a system in place, but if it's not being utilized as intended, then there's no value to it. You know, it takes all of us. It takes the media. It takes law enforcement to come together to help us find us. I ask you to learn about cases like Alexis Weir, Tiffany Foster, Ariana Fitz, Keisha Jacobs, and the list goes on and on and on and on of Black women who are missing, but you haven't heard about them because they have not garnered that national headline. But we cannot sit back and say this is someone else's problem.
I want her to come home. But if she's gone, I want closure. But if she was to ever to come home, I mean, it'll be amazing. You see how I'm like.
And shout out to the moms who came together to make this possible to talk about. Your kids missing. This is a very disturbing situation. It's real hard to, deal with, just for the simple fact you never know if you're going to see them again. In most cases, you usually don't. It's very lucky that you do find someone who haven't been raped, too badly traumatized, which anybody who get abducted, it's going to be traumatized because it's not comfortable. You're out your comfort zone. So I think more should be shined onto this. All this money that get dumped into foreign countries and other shit, I think we need to start dumping more money into our country, into our people, where it don't matter if you're black, white, brown, or yellow, into our country.